I've put all the parts of Goa into one 36-minute story, from the first visit in 1989 to the present day. So many things come to mind. It is now over 33 years ago, and so some of the facts may not be quite correct. The travel company Intersun introduced their first trip to Goa, India. It was 1 week in Goa, then a week up into Delhi to do the Golden Triangle tour. We decided to give it a go. Well, it was a hell of a journey. Flew on a Boeing 657, a narrow-bodied aircraft, one aisle down the centre, taking 12 hours. We had seats one from the back row, and sitting behind us, Liz and Ian from Lou in Cornwall, and we struck up with a friendship with them. Liz was sitting with her leg in plaster. She had broken her leg a few days earlier, but had decided to carry on with her holiday. So you can imagine the discomfort she must have gone through. Very brave girl. Well done, Liz. Well, it was all well worth it. As soon as I got off the plane into a teeny airport that it was at the time, collected our bags and got on a bus to the hotel. It was a 20-minute journey, and what I saw on the way excited me. Can't explain, it just had a magic about it, which still stays with me till this day. Checked into the Hotel Sea de Goa in Donapula, which was set in lovely gardens and with its own private beach. It had 3 restaurants, one for local Goan food, another which served Portuguese-style food, then another which served barbecue steaks. Brilliant. There was a bar next to the pool and one inside. At that time, the price of a big bottle of Kingfisher cost 18 rupees, which was about £1. Found out later, it only was 8 rupees in a little bar down the road. Spent most nights at the hotel bar having a few beers. Had good drinking pals, Liz, Jake, Debbie, Keith, Lynn, Ian, Angela and Roger. We used to sign for the bill every day, because at the end of the holiday, if we paid by credit card, we'd get 10% off the bill. You wouldn't get that today, they would charge you extra for using your card. We had a lady staying in room 1 called Madame Galli, a wife of a French diplomat, and she was a real character and a lot of fun. She later moved to a big house on the hill outside the hotel. Liz and Ian was invited to her place a few times, and I believe she played the piano and served them in champagne. Every evening, the hotel ran a shuttle bus to the capital, Panjim. We often took this bus to go to the Hotel Mandovi and sit on our balcony overlooking the ferry for a beer or two. Another favourite place in Panjim, a Chinese restaurant called Goan Chin, which is still open today. Recall one time the owner said to us, please do not leave too big a tip, as the staff would favour us over their local clients. The days at the Sea de Goa were great, and of course we were oblivious to the real Goa outside. With Liz and Ian did quite a few trips. Our first venture was to catch the ferry from Donapula Jetty across to Vasco, then a bus to Malmo Goa, the major shipping port in Goa. After looking around, headed back to Vasco station to catch a steam train to Margaux. We paid a little extra for the first class ticket. There was only one first class carriage, but it had ceiling fans and a toilet. What a great day we had. Ended the day having dinner by the ferry in Panjim before getting a tuk-tuk back to the hotel. To explore further, used the hotel taxi, a white ambassador or the old Morris Oxford tours. The driver Peter was very good, and he took us first to see some of the northern beaches. Checked out Vagator and Anjuna, where we saw many hippies on the beach. Visited Mapsa Market, Market we'd never seen nothing like before, very colourful. Drove back, calling it Bagger and Caligote beaches. Very few people on these beaches at the time. Next time, went to some of the beaches in the south. Beautiful beaches. Recall the lunch we had at a shack there. Super king prawns. Whoa. To the side of the hotel beach was a little jetty, and just behind, a village. We walked through many times to reach Donna Paula, and we would often be invited into some of the homes. This was a great experience for us, and it was magic. It has all gone now, sadly. Going to take you back now to Goa in the 60s. In those days, many young people from many nations made their way to India, and most would have travelled to Goa by ship from Bombay, as it was called then. They called them hippies. They lived a simple life, smoked pop, and danced the days and nights away. Accommodation would have been simple, no running water, etc., and only pigs' toilets. But they enjoyed life. Many earned money by making trinkets and jewellery, which led to the start of the flea market at Anjuna to sell their goods. The market over the years has become well known, and people flock to it every Wednesday. On our second week, we flew to Delhi and did the Golden Triangle. It was an excellent tour and a real eye-opener. The next year, went back to see the Goa with friends Derek and Anne, Alan and Mavis. Liz and Ian also had gone back, so we carried on from where we left off the year before, only a lot more relaxed knowing the ropes. Over the next 10 years, Liz and Ian carried on going back to India and travelled widely, based themselves in Caligote for 6 months of the year. We kept in touch with them over the years, meeting up in Loo several times. We met up with Liz and Ian again in Goa, February 2000. We spent 2 weeks in Caligote and then went back again in November. I liked what Liz and Ian was doing, and it got me thinking. Work at the time was getting harder and harder. 8 every morning I got up, and the new health and safety laws was making things difficult. So I decided it was time to retire. November 2001, Jan and I went back to Goa to stay for 3 months. Was not sure if we would like being there that long. Well, we did, and we've been going back ever since. We stayed just off the beach road in Caligote. Nice place run by Philomena. It was on a small room, but it had a nice big terrace. We decided we wanted to stay longer next season, so we looked around for somewhere else. Found a house only a couple of minutes away. The owners, Rowena and Stanley, opened the door to us, and we both fell in love with them. Just knew that these were good people, which proved to be right. They are family to us now. It was a much bigger room and upstairs, which I think is better, being cooler and less chance of anything nasty getting in. There was a nice garden and a balcony overlooking the surroundings. So booked for the next seasons, and it is now our second home. We are now talking in seasons, because the season in Goa runs from October to March, and we often found ourselves confused which year we visited. Our first season at Stanley's. The first evening they took us to a restaurant they owned called the Kingstalk. We didn't know of this place, so it was a complete surprise. The Kingstalk was set in lovely gardens. We sat in the garden that evening for dinner with their daughter Alicia and son Kyle and their Swedish friends. This was a great welcome for us. We soon settled in. Stanley and Rowena would be working at the Kingstalk most of the time. To look after the home, they employed 2 sisters, Ganga as housekeeper and Paco who worked part-time to help out. We hold these most dear for looking after us all these years. Stanley and Rowena took us out many times to show us around. We even went to a dog show one day in Panjim. We could see that there was a lot to explore in Goa. The next season, decided to buy a car so we could do this ourselves. Bought a Hyundai Santro, nice little car, and it served us well. Had it for around 6 years, and in that time I've travelled Goa north to south, even drove into the next state, Maharashtra. Had some fantastic experiences, although some not so good. Driving in the countryside one day, a cow or a steer with big horns ran down the embankment and crashed into the car. It ran off, and on inspecting the car, found it had a nasty dent on the front end, but then a little dent on the door pillar from the animal's horns. Another inch, and my passenger at the time, Nick, would have been impaled. Very lucky. Another time I got clamped in parking in Bapsa Market. I think they was clamping all cars they could, must have been a purge on. I carried on now making videos of Goa and put them together while at home for 6 months of the year in the UK. Still met up with Wally and Derek, sharing what was new in the video world. And Derek passed away that year. It was a big blow to us all. We carried on with our dad's late night, but it was never the same again. And Wally had been fighting throat cancer for a while now, and it was getting worse. He rang me and told me that he was have to have his voice box removed. I said to him, "Are you sure about this?" And he said, "What choice do I have?" While in the UK, I went to see him most days. The next season in Goa was filmed and he died. Nothing I could do. Not being able to go to the funeral. I picked some flowers, went to the beach and placed them in the sea and said a few words. Left a big hole in my life. My both best mates gone in just a short time. But you have to carry on and keep learning. I do my own cooking in Goa because I like cooking and going to market, and it means I can eat what I want and when I want. Show you a clip now of my morning walk to market for bread and veg. And this was to be a lucky day. They had brought in a blue marlin into the market, which is our favourite fish.
Your camera?
Yeah.
You'll break your camera. He'll break your camera.
No, you won't. Sweetie. He's here every day. How are you, my friend? You good?
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. You want to click photo?
Yeah, I'm taking now. That's it.
You buy a new one?
Yeah, new one, yeah. I'm taking. Yeah, it's new, and I'm taking.
Did you notice the welcome we got going to the shops? Everybody was smiling and passed the time of day with us. This is the magic of Goa. So much to tell about our experiences and the many friends we have made. Cannot mention them all. My good friend Alpha, who I met the first year, he and his wife Fatima ran a guest house not far from us. And he was very good on a computer, so we had a mutual interest. He taught me all kinds of things. He had worked for a bank, setting their computers up. If I ever needed help, he was there for me. Sadly, he passed away in 2017. My adopted family stand in Rowena for their friendship and kindness. I have watched their children, Alicia and Carl, grow up to be happy and successful. I am honoured to be their guests. Many of the shops and bars I used watched the owners' sons grow up and take over from their fathers. So you can imagine I feel a strong bond towards them all, seeing them grow up. Alex Cortina still works the bar, he'll never pack in. And his son runs it afternoons and evenings. Family members, Augustine and Chris Cortina. Baptist works in the bar, and Muckham drives a taxi, and he's willing to take me anywhere, any distance, overnight if need be, at any time. The public bar was the main hub for us in the old days, and great times we had here. The owner, Chandakant, was a good man, and he kept us all in check. His son, Samir, has grown up and now runs the bar after Chandakant's passing. The Fiesta Bar, or the garage as we call it, is the main bar I use now. Again, I've seen all these young men grow up from boys and now run the bar, and they have become great friends. I want to show what the beach in Canangoot looked like before the start of the season with no shacks. They start building shacks around November. Jan is on the beach waiting for construction to start. Speeded up the construction by 500% to make it shorter. When you do get your sunbed, you may have to share it with a dog or a cow, but that's all part of the fun. Recently, from time to time, sand sculptures have been constructed on the beach. Very clever stuff. Unfortunately, you don't see fish on the beach like this nowadays. I have a little clip now from 205 of a day with plenty of fish. There are many temples to see in Goa, but I think the Sri Magash is the most impressive. It was founded during the 16th century. The Portuguese took over many of the old forts in Goa and built many more. Sri Magash is one of the oldest forts, 1551. Fort Aguada at Synchrome, 1612. Now, it has a prison. Look out for the man in the prison cell. A new suspension bridge built at Adona leads to Korgem Fort, which was built in 1705. Ailormar, near Penham, not far off the border, is in a bad state, but I believe they are going to restore it. I hope so, because it sits on a lovely spot on the side of the river. Japora, established 1510. The Portuguese took it over in 1717. It overlooks Vagator Beach. Really enjoyed exploring these forts. Rarely saw anybody else there. After reading a book showing places of interest along the coast from Mumbai to Goa, spotted a town called Malvan, which had a fort sitting on an island facing the town. It looked interesting, so decided to drive the 80 miles from Goa to have a look. Stayed a couple of nights in Malvan, a delightful place. This was the real India, beautiful empty beaches. Well, the fort was massive, and to get to it you had to take a dugout canal from the jetty. On the drive back to Goa, stopped off at Savali Palace and we had a pleasant surprise.
The sun, that's why.
Take your cup if it's okay.
No, it's okay. That's why you want it on that background.
It's nice up there in the sun. I don't want to get you too.
No, you can't.
You know, not Davy Bailey, you know. So we met royalty. What could be better than that to finish a trip? Going to show you clips from a video I made in 2001 of people working in terrible conditions, from construction to collecting the garbage. Thankfully now there's proper scaffolding and JCBs available to them.
This film attempts to show some of the people going about their daily business. From builders' work looks back-breaking. There is little heavy plant and equipment to make things easy.
You can still see rice growing in Goa. After harvesting, the crop is often laid out on the road to dry. Cannot tell the story of Goa without showing some of the beautiful churches, the most important being in Old Goa. In the early days in Goa, the little stores and shops were everywhere and you could get nearly anything you needed. Now, many big supermarkets have sprung up and a lot of the little shops have gone. A few photos now of some of the old shops in the Kalangute area. Canangoot has become a second home to me, and the climate suits me less aches and pains. Have many going friends as well as from the UK. Way back, before knowing many people, met Pam and Ray. They had been living there a while. They owned a Jeep, and they took us to a lot of places and introduced us to people who had been living there a few years. This taught me what you can do, what you shouldn't do in this country. This knowledge was to be invaluable over the years. Met many people over the years who came every season. Sadly now, many have passed on. In recent years, Tim, Jim, Nick, Janet and Nico and Snowy, who I met originally in Goa, became my best mates, and we meet up in the UK when we can. And I know if I need help in Goa or the UK, they will be there for me. Together, Nick and I travelled further afield to different states in India and had some great times. And he rings me regular to check on me, bless him. I like to use the local Goan bars rather than the posh bars that have sprung up. Feeling that you should mix with the locals, because I am a local, I hope. A few quick shots now of some of the little bars. Sadly, a lot of them are now gone. I've made many Goan friends, and must say a few words about them. Sonil, who lives next door, known him from the year dot. I still remember one time on our arrival, him running after our taxi to greet us. Ali, he runs a store in the street and will give you any help anytime. Nevis, a great lad. We worked together on photographs for his bar. Yogesh, Johnny, Caesar and Ganesh from the Fiesta Bar, all great lads, and I thank them all for being loyal friends. It is not all sunshine. We do get rain at times, and when it does, it's heavy, making everywhere flooded, but it's still warm and it soon dries up. A lot of things have changed since coming here to Goa the first time. Many good things, new better roads, stricter hygiene in food shops and restaurants, but it has become a tourist attraction for many folks from out of state, and this brought many new guest houses and shops being built, and also a lot of litter. So it is losing some of its charm. I've watched a lot of friends start up new businesses and doing quite well. We used to have a little chapel across from our house, and about 3 years ago they knocked it down, and we thought, oh no, not another guest house going to be built. Thankfully they built a new charming little chapel. In 2005, Stanley Arena started building a hotel in the grounds of that King Thorp restaurant, and it opened just over a year later in 2006. And he made a brilliant job of it, well planned out, and the business has done well. As you can see, a very nice place, and we can recommend it to anybody. Have done a fair bit of travelling in India, but you would need a lifetime to see India. So I have put together a little video which I've called My India Travel in 4 minutes. At the end included a video of a dream fulfilled, especially Jan, after many attempts over the years.
You videoing?
Yeah, I'm just on it there this time.
Yeah.
Let it roll.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Got 3 trips. Michael. That's what's
Going to end my story here in Goa. I have to wait till I can get back. Soon, I hope. Thanks for watching.